Well, welcome everyone. Thanks for joining us today. We've got a nice program laid out for you on leadership. I know a lot of us struggle with leadership. When I first started presenting and doing programs around the country for different contractor groups, one of my friends said, "George, why don't you do a program on leadership?" I go, "I don't know anything about leadership." They go, "Well, you are a leader." I go, "Well, okay, I guess so. I'll figure it out." So anyway, here we are some 20 years later, presenting a program, Effective Leadership for Contractors, including the managers and supervisors. So that's what we're going to do today. Excuse me. We're going to spend about an hour or more, a little bit more than an hour, and explore this subject. It's a deep subject. I did a 2-day workshop for a major construction company just after New Year's, and we spent 2 days on this topic. So we're going to try to cram it into 1 hour, 1 hour and 20 minutes, etc. So hopefully it'll be great for you and something you can take home and improve. All right, so most of you know me, George Hedley. I started my construction company in the 70s, late 70s, Hedley Construction, and we built industrial office warehouse buildings. And along the way, my company grew. I had up to 150 employees within the first 7 years, doing concrete, general contracting, mostly warehouse, industrial, office, retail, all the commercial projects, 1, 2, 3 stories. And so that was my specialty. And along the way, I had to learn how to lead people, and I was horrible at it. I'm a horrible manager and a horrible leader. I'm like most construction company owners and entrepreneurs. They are very good at sales and happiness and in winning customers and leading and a vision for the future. They're very weak at management, managing their people, holding them accountable. So I failed a lot. Went through a lot of people, trying different tactics, and I finally figured it out. But it took me 10 to 20 years until I finally figured it out. And here now I'm an expert online teaching you how to be a great leader. So what I do now for the last 10 years plus, I've been a full-time construction business coach, consultant, mentor to clients. And I know I have several of you on the phone here today on the Zoom. And hopefully I can help you in the future too. I wrote a book called Get Your Construction Business to Always Make a Profit. You can get it on Amazon. It's about 275 pages or something. And it does have some sections on leadership, but a lot on finance and job site management and project management, those kinds of things. So if I can help you, let me know after we're done. Just give me an email or a call and we'll set up something and talk. All right. So today is all about becoming an effective leader. And I'm going to share some practices that I see that work. I was over at one of my clients' offices yesterday in Irvine, California, and we spent quite a bit of time talking about his org chart, his people, who's performing, who's not performing, how can we make it better. And it really boils down to thinking like a leader instead of a doer. So why are we here? Why are you here? What are you trying to accomplish? What are you trying to learn? We all want to be better leaders. So there's some basic things we have to do. The main thing is we have to create time and margin in our calendar to be the leader. If you're working all the time doing, estimating, project management, running jobs, you don't have time to be a leader. You just do. And you tell people what to do. And then when they don't do what you want them to do, you get all upset and you think they're no good. It's because you didn't take the time to mentor, coach, train, and lead them versus tell them what to do. So why are we here? We're here to become a great coach, great leader. I love the Kansas City Andy Reid coach. What does he do? He's a good leader. And so what does he do? What can you use a head coach as an example for your leadership style? I finally just realized that I've got to be a really good coach. And so I've got to have a game plan. I've got to have a strong management team, head coach, assistant coach, offense, defense, special teams. I've got to have I've got to have a strong playbook, and we have to train the playbook, and we got to make sure everybody's following the plays. Otherwise, we're going to lose. And then if I have players that don't cut it, they're not good enough, or they're not following the plan, I got to replace them. I got to do what I got to do. And I always have to have a backup. And I also have to build capacity. Some players just burn out. Some get old. Some don't want to learn stuff. So I'll continually have to improve my team, which is really hard for us construction people to want to improve our team because it's hard. Just when you get somebody trained, they quit. or they go, their spouse wants to move to their family in the other side of the country. So we got to continually build capacity, and that's what leaders do. And what about you? So what about your plays? You keep calling the same plays. We got to continually improve, innovate, discard things that don't work anymore, old software, old tendencies, old equipment. We got to be leaders. Got to see the future and lead towards it. So what plays can you call? What do we need to do to get to the next level as a leader? So as we sit here this morning, what bold plays do you need to call to be a winning coach and an effective leader? If it's not working, you got to change. If it's not working for you, you've got to change your input. You've got to change your mindset. You got to change how you talk to people, how you treat people, how you encourage people, how you hold people accountable. That's all leadership. And so what we have to realize is to win the race, you can't just keep doing what you've always done. You can't win many football games if you call the same plays with the same players every single day. So what do we have to do to change and improve? What do you have to do? And I'm talking about you, not them. This is a talk to you, not your people. We're not telling your people to improve. We're telling your input to improve as leadership traits, characteristics. So my goal is to inspire you to change, not your people to change. And so leaders do things first. They're out ahead of everybody. They're in the future. They're thinking ahead, and then they think big picture. And so if you're comfortable, you're not going to be a good leader. You've got to keep moving, pushing, changing, trying new things, staying out in front, being a flag planter, consider, push the limits, never accept mediocrity, never, excuse me, never allow poor performers to interrupt your whole company operation. One bad apple ruins the whole cart. You've got to continually upgrade, disrupt the status quo, try new things, and you got to keep going to a higher level. You've got to keep encouraging people to get to a higher level. And if you're not doing that, you're upset because nobody cares. Nobody's as good as you. All those kinds of things. I've heard it all, and I'm kind of getting over it. I'm kind of tired of hearing the same excuses. Well, my people. Well, what are you doing about it? Well, I can't find any help. What are you doing about finding help? What are you doing about paying more, raising your prices? What are you doing about it? You're not doing anything except whining. That's no good. So the question is, what do you want as you sit here today and in the future for your company? What do you want? As a leader, you're a leader. What do you want to happen over the next year, 2 years? What's your 1, 2, 3 year vision of where you want to go and how you want your business to work and how do you want your people to work inside your business? So you've got some choices. You can seek doing the same thing, same results, or you can seek at higher level, which are what? They're better results. So this is what I call the leadership gap, the leadership effectiveness gap. How do we move from where we are to where we want to go? And if we continue to do business the same, you're going to get the same results. So do the business the same, keep pushing the same way you're always pushing. It won't change anything. It'll just make you frustrated, stressed out, and hate going to the office, right? So what are you going to do different? You've got to put a different focus, mantra, procedure. What do you have to do different to get better results with your team as the leader? And so you have some choices. You have to decide, is it them or is it me? And it's obviously you. You've got to change. They're not going to change unless your input changes and how you deal and treat people. And some people just won't change and they shouldn't work for you. So what are you going to do as the leader? You have to decide what I have to do to get a better result from my people as the leader. So the question is, where am I and what am I going to do? So I have to decide my plan to improve my leadership. And I've got to have time to create the plan. I've got to have time to spend with my people. Leaders need motivation, need to provide motivation and inspiration and a vision and a future and caring and training and all those kinds of things. And you can't do that when you're doing all the work yourself. So what are we going to do about it? We've got to decide to do it or not. And if you're not, just get over it. You're a one-man band with 50 people under you and it doesn't work, or a one-woman band, of course, not to be sexist there. But the point is, what are you going to do? It's either yes or no. You're going to become a leader by changing your leadership style, your management style, your ownership or executive style, or you're not. And if you're not, you're never going to get where you want to go. You're never going to be happy. You're never going to have a great company. So we've all got some challenges as leaders. And I don't care if you're a business owner, a manager, a vice president, a controller, a superintendent, a project manager, a foreman, crew leader. You're a leader. You have to make positive input to get great output. So it starts with you. You are what turns it on. And so what are some challenges? We got customer issues. We got change order issues. We got people not showing up. We got, whining and gossip in the office. We got negative people. We got disrespectful foremen that screaming at their crews. We've got subcontractors, suppliers, specialty partners showing up, not showing up, material delayed. There's a million things that go wrong in construction. But it starts with you. Do you care about your people? Do you spend time with your people? Do you manage your people every day and every week, one-on-one, to help them get to the next level? Your input equals their output. And so if you're ignoring them, if you're not spending time with them, what do you expect? You're the leader. You look at a coach. They're spending a lot of time with their players, and they're on the field 5 days a week for a 1-hour game on Sunday, right? So we've got some challenges. Just when we think we're headed the right direction, we've got a few challenges. We've got some alligators chasing us, or we're heading the right way, and all of a sudden we look up and there's a plane coming right at us, or we think we're out in the front of everything. We got together and some shark's chasing you. So there's so many things that happen. Things are crumbling all around. We don't know what to do. Look in the mirror and figure out what I have to do different to get different results. That's what leaders do. And so we work really hard. We juggle. We have lots of challenges, but we never stop to be a leader. You can't be a leader when you're doing a bid. You can't be a leader when you're out scheduling the crews. You can't be a leader when you're, doing an estimate or a bid, or project managing, or ordering lumber. It's impossible. You're doing the work. You're not leading people. You're not working with people. You're not training people. So you have to commit to be a leader. It doesn't just happen. There's no secrets. You know what you need to do. You need to spend time with your people, helping them get to the next level, and you need to build capacity so your company can move to the next level. So, and you've got to stop making all the decisions for people. So what are you going to do? And so I've got an old saying, you can't get rich with your head in the ditch. The more I do, the less our company does. The more I do for my people, the more they don't do for the company or for me or for the job. So if my goal is busy, I made it. And so am I too busy? Am I too busy doing the work to take time to stop and be a leader? That's the question I want to start with. And if you just solve that problem, you will absolutely be a great leader, on the road to being a great leader if you're not already one, underneath all the heavy work. So you've got to get a team in place that allows you to have some time to lead, 1 hour a day, at least, instead of all day cranking and all night and all weekend on bids and paperwork and whatever you're doing. And so the question is, are you doing too much yourself? Why? Why are you doing it yourself? Don't you trust people? Are you afraid to hire people? Are you afraid that you hire somebody and they don't work out? Why? What are you afraid of? Poor leaders are afraid. What are you afraid of? Why won't you do what you need to do? Why don't you delegate? Why don't you let go? Why not trust your people 100%? Well, because I can do it better, faster, and I know it's going to be done right. No, well, yeah, but how much can you grow if you got to do everything yourself? So for me, when I was building my company, this is probably when I was around 40, a few years back. Look at my desk. I mean, I was a king of do it all, and everything revolved around me. And I built my company up, and I realized I wasn't a good leader, and I have to change. I have to hire more people. I have to trust. I have to delegate. And I realized when I do too much myself, what happens? We don't grow. We don't make any money. We make the minimum because we don't have time to go after better customers. What doesn't happen? Profit, growth, freedom, real estate wealth, That doesn't happen because I'm too busy putting out fires. And so what do I have to do? I find this is when I'm, man, I look young there. I look good. I don't even have gray hair. And so I'm sitting there going, what do I have to do? And I finally realized people look at my desk, people keep dropping, could you fix this? Can you take care of this, George? I finally had a stamp made, one of those rubber stamps. This is way before the internet. We had computers, but we didn't have good email. And this is about this picture. And it says, please trust you. So I started learning how to trust by just giving it back to them. What are you asking me for? You're as smart as me. I hired you to do the work. I didn't hire you to ask me how to do your work. I asked you to do your work. And so I realized that I have to hold them accountable by not fixing things for everybody. Let go to grow. And so and you need to learn that too. If you're failing with people, you're probably afraid to call them out. You're afraid to reprimand them in a friendly way. I don't believe in reprimands. I believe in clear expectations and then follow up and mentoring and training. But what do I have to do? And so, are you too busy to get it all done? Are you why? Why are you doing all the work? Why don't you have an assistant? You mean you're making $100,000 or $200,000? Why do you do secretary work? Why do you do admin work? Why do you go by the hardware store on the way home? That's for somebody else to do. Your job is to go out and get big contracts and make big money and network with people who can bring you in high margin work. It's not to worry about nuts and bolts. I call it doorknobs. I'm chasing doorknobs. Who cares? Get somebody to chase your doorknobs. Just pay them a little money and they'll free you up to go make another 5 million in volume. That's the key. So why? We're our worst enemy. We're our own worst enemy. And so do people constantly call you all day? What are they doing? Are they calling you all day? Why are they calling you? Why? Because you've got all the answers. Why do you have to be in the middle of it? Why don't you just, what I say is my job is to solve other people's problems. Wrong. When I solve all other people's problems, they just keep bringing me more problems, and I don't have time to do my job, which is to be the leader, go get more work, oversee the management, innovate technology, make sure our systems are in place, all those kinds of things. It's not to do the work. I'm the owner, not the doer. Now, when you're small, you got to do a lot of stuff, but you need to carve out leadership time. Otherwise you get stuck. So when they come in and ask you a question, you've got to realize you got to stop solving other people's problems. And when they come in and ask you a question, you got to say, well, what's your solution? Somebody comes in and said, hey, George, where should I get this gravel? Where's the best place to get gravel? Or anything, fill in the blank. I go, what do you think's the best idea? What's your solution? What do you think is the best choice? Go back and get me 3 choices and I'll help you make a decision. But I'm not going to tell you what to do. I need to wean you off me from relying on me to make decisions. So what do I have to do to get to the next level? And so what happens is when I'm responsible for everything, we're stuck at the level of what I can run and control in my business. I'm not a leader, I'm a doer. I'm a human doer, not a human being. And if you're in charge of too much, you're responsible for almost everything. You're proud of being a problem solver. It's just easy I'll just tell them what to do. But now you have all these people relying on you to do their job. You don't have people who are responsible and accountable to get it done because they know they come to you, you'll solve their problem. And now they're not accountable and responsible. You are. So they're sitting around waiting for you to make a decision, right? So when you have that sign around your neck, I solve other people's problems, they keep bringing you more problems, right? And so we got to get that off you. The leaders don't solve problems. They help people make good decisions. They help people learn how to do the right thing. They hold people accountable to perform, to achieve results. And so we get too busy doing other people's jobs. And then we let other people's priorities overtake our priorities. We set a meeting, we set a company meeting, and then I I've drives me crazy. I had we had one of our peer groups, Hard Hat Biz Group, this last couple of weeks. We had three of them, and guys don't show up. Well, I had a better deal than the other. This has been on the calendar for 6 months, but the day before that, somebody calls them with a problem. And the problem is, what kind of doorknobs to buy? Something stupid. So they cancel. It's like you're not accountable because you're not accountable. And your people aren't accountable because you're not accountable. So you have a meeting set up with somebody and then you blow it off because some bigger deal calls you on the other line. And because you don't have your priorities in order. You don't have your future laid out. You don't have a plan. You just react all day to whichever is the bigger deal. And then people see you as all over the place and not trustworthy, not accountable, not a good leader. And then they look for better jobs somewhere else because they don't want to work for a out of control maniac, right? So maybe I'm being a bit blunt here, but I'm telling you, I've been through it. And a lot of clients of mine have been through it. Now they've come out of it and they figured it out. And so what I realized when I solve other people's problems, they bring me more problems. My job as a leader is to solve problems. It's to design the future, hold people accountable, help them make good decisions, help them grow. That's my job, not to do and fix. So I'm not a fix. And so people responsible for nothing are responsible for what? Nothing. So the question is, what are you going to do about stop solving other people's problems? And the best way is just don't even answer a question. You just go. So when they call you on the phone, what should I do about this? And go, well, what do you think you ought to do? What do you think the right solution is? Have you gone out and got a couple quotes on that or some other bids? Or have you called around to see if there's another alternative? No? Well, call me when you got some answers. And then they'll stop calling you because they know you're just going to turn it around and make them do their job. What makes us crazy is I can't find any accountable help. That's because we don't let them be accountable because I'm the accountable one for them. I'm telling them what to do. So it's really look in the mirror. All right? So high control. The more you control, the less they do. The more you control, the less decisions they make. The less you control, the more they do for you. It's really simple. The more micromanaging control freak you are, non-delegator, tell people what to do, not let go, do things yourself, the worse leader you're going to be. You're not a leader. You're a worker. And I don't want to hire a worker. I want to hire a manager. A manager is someone who does stuff and gets it done and makes good decisions. So think about, do you continually solve other people's problems? You got to stop and you got to ask, what's your solution? And then when I ask my clients, like you all in the group here, what's your solution? Well, I'm going to try. No, you're either going to do it or you're not. You go down the hall and you say, hey, project manager, how you doing on the schedule? We're pretty good. Are you on time? Well, pretty much. That means you're not. Are you going to get this done by Friday? Hopefully. That means they're not even going to think about it. They're not going to get it done. You need clear, precise, dedicated people, and you've got to hold them accountable to be clear, concise, and dedicated to achieve the goal as the leader. That's what the leader and the managers do. So, it's yes or no. Are you on schedule? Well, yeah, no. It's yes or no. Are you going to finish by Friday? Well, no. Yes or no. There's no sort of. There's no pretty much. There's no hopefully, right? So I learned that from one of our clients who's in one of our peer groups. And so the question is, what are we going to do about it? So you have to make every decision. Why? Why don't you let them make this? Well, why don't you make that decision? I've got to spend $5,000. Okay, that's fine. Do it. Is it in the budget? Well, great. Go get it done. I don't want to know about it. Just get it done if it's in budget. Well, what do you think? I don't think. I hired you to think. Come on. And so are you the only one who's accountable? That's because you're the only one accountable. You're holding them back. You're taking their job away from them and you're doing their job for them as a weak leader. You're a weak leader when you do other people's work. Now, there's certain things you have to do yourself, of course. If you're in charge of estimating, you got to estimate. But you don't have to get out in the field's face and worry about the crew and the foreman. They got their own leader or manager, general foreman, project manager, whoever's running them is in charge of them, not you. You're taking care of getting work. or winning work or managing work, whatever you're in charge of, right? And so get out of everybody else's business and just stay into your lane, which is leadership, right? Leadership, visionary leader, talent development. What else does a leader do? Motivation, communication, positive energy, hold people accountable. Those are what you're accountable for. That's what your role is. And what are we going to do? So are you wearing too many hats? You're in charge of a bunch, you know? That's the question. Why? Why are you wearing too many hats? Why don't you hire some people? Why don't you get some assistants to help you do stuff so you don't have to do stupid little detail stuff, worrying about doorknobs again? What are you doing? So you have too many people reporting to you. Most people have everybody. I go to companies. In fact, I was one yesterday, and we had this discussion. There's 5 or 6 people. Who do you report to? Well, I report to the owner. Some project manager. Who do you report to? The owner. Estimator. Who do you report to? The owner. The field superintendent. Well, I really report to the owner. No, you don't. You report to the project manager, who reports to the VP of construction. And this company had a VP of the field, and everybody thinks he's the boss. He's not. The PM's in charge of the job. So there's a real clear misunderstanding of the roles and the chain of command. So the pizza rule of management, how many slices are there? 6. 1 manager or supervisor per 5 or 6 reports. That's it. That's all you can handle. And if you're a foreman and you got 6 people, you can't work. You're the leader. You're the overseer. You're the manager. You're the coordinator. That's the key. And so when I have 7 or 8, 10, 12 people reporting to me, or think they do, or they keep calling me, I'm in big trouble. My company's in the toilet, right? So what do I have to do? So I need to hire and delegate. Okay. I don't run the ad. I have an office manager who runs the ad and then screens the interviews. And then I get on the phone with him, or I meet him in person, or my VP of construction or my manager, et cetera, hires him. Maybe I'll just say hi to him, make sure I feel good with him. But that's not my job. My job is to make sure we have enough people and push the team so we have enough people to get the work done over the next 6 to 12 months, right? And so why? Why don't we have enough people? It's because you haven't decided that you just soon work hard and do it yourself. Try to save as much money as you can, which means you're stuck. Leaders don't stay stuck. They move. Keep it moving. And here's a classic non-leader picture. We've got 12 guys watching one. Come on. The foreman's down there on his knees, and all the workers are standing around watching. Is that classic? That is classic. So remember, the more you do yourself, the less your people do. It's simple. And the less money you make. The more you do for your people, the less they do for you. It's simple. Leaders don't do. Leaders manage, lead, motivate, encourage, plan, strategize, communicate, inspire. That's what leaders do. And so what do I got to do? And so I've got to let go to make more dough. And I got to stop solving other people's problems as a leader. I've got to I got to make sure they clearly understand the results expected, but then I got to stop solving their problems. They need to solve their own, or otherwise they're useless. They're not worth 80 grand a year if I have to solve all their problems. They're worth like 20 because they're basically my junior assistant. And I've got to get that monkey. They keep bringing me monkeys and I keep taking them. So I got to stop it. There's a great book, The 1 Minute Manager Meets the Monkey. If you've got a problem accepting too many problems of your employees, it's a little short 1 Minute Manager book. You might be interested in it. There's also videos online. Then I've got to get off the field like a coach. Coach isn't on the field. Most head coaches aren't even calling the plays. They planned ahead and have the strategy all prepared. So when game time comes, the assistant coaches, offense, defense, special teams, can call the right plays and put in the right players. Head coach just kind of look at them, motivates, claps, hires, delegates, and transfers responsibility. I can't grow unless I transfer. And I lead versus do. I don't do. I'm overdoing. I'm tired of doing. So another thing I do, I coach versus tell. I don't tell them what to do. I coach them through the process and we discuss it and we share ideas and we all agree on the final solution. So that's leadership. Leadership, whether you're a foreman, project superintendent, whether you're a division manager, whether you're a chief estimator, whether you're the owner, we're all the same. Excuse me, got this little cold today, sorry. So another thing used to be promoted. Tom Peters wrote the book, a lot of years ago. And his whole deal was management by wandering around. Make sure you stay in touch. Well, that's important, but don't manage by wandering around. That's what I've seen. And I tried that. And so you walk around the office and all your PMs are there in your office and your estimator. Hey, Joe, how's that job going? Pretty good. You on budget? Pretty much. Are you going to get that done? Well, hopefully we will. Now, they've just told you pretty much, how about all those change orders? You get them all approved? You got them signed? Yeah, I got it handled, boss. Don't worry about it. Now, they've just lied to you 4 times. They didn't tell you yes. They tell you sort of. Sort of's a no. It's either yes or no. So I walked around the office and got a bunch of positives. Nobody wants to tell me the story, the real story. I'm the owner. They want to just get me out of their face. And so I don't deal with it. I go, oh, okay, sounds good to me. And then 3 weeks later, you find out they don't finish on time. We got a huge punch list. The owner's ticked off. We've got $100,000 in work we've done with no change orders approved. We can't bill it. And we're in the toilet. Why? Because I walked around and accepted half answers. Leaders only accept the truth and they dig into the bottom to get the truth, the answers. And so you can't be a wimp, no wimps. You can't let your people talk you into the wrong answer and you believe it. You've got to dig in. Well, show me your change order log. Show me your signed change order. He told me he'd sign it. He just hasn't done it yet. Have you already done the work? Heck yeah, we did it 3 months ago. That's just totally against company policy. So think about how you lead and how you manage. First thing I got to do is know what I want. So what results do I want? I got to make sure it's real clear with our people what the results expected are. I need this change order signed. Okay. How about, I'll get it. Don't worry. I'm worried. How about by Thursday noon? I need it by Thursday noon. You got it? Yeah, Thursday noon. I need it signed. Okay. And then we'll start on Friday. You got it? That's clear. So what results do I want for the company? What's my vision for the future? How much sales, how much profit I want to make? Where do I want to go? What do I want to be known as? That's what I want, my vision. And then specifically for my employees, they have to know clearly on their job description what's expected. All shop drawings shall be approved within the first 30 days of every project, no exceptions. All change orders will be signed, sealed, and delivered within 2 days of the work starting. I don't know what your rule is. Do you have a rule? Do you manage the rule? Does your project manager and superintendent know what the rules are? Are they clear? Are you managing them? Are you holding people accountable to follow the rules? Or are you letting them kind of go with the flow? And you got good old Joe working for you, who's been there a long time. It doesn't have to follow any rules. That is tolerating poor performers. I don't want poor performers who don't do what the company's system standards and rules are. I'm allowing poor performers, which people look at me as a poor leader because I'm not holding people accountable to follow the rules. You get graded downward when you don't hold yourself and your people accountable. Your leadership value becomes zero almost because they're going to, oh God, he's not going to follow through with that either. Well, why should I work hard? So the key is, what do you want? Number one, what results do you want? Number two, what's the plan to achieve it? What are you going to do about it? So when I'm sitting down with an employee, how are you going to achieve the goal? Give me the 5 steps to achieve the goal. The results, I want to finish on time. I want to have the punch list done before we finish the job. I want to get all the change orders approved. What's your plan to achieve it? And so I got to have a plan. Can't just say go do it. I got to have a plan. Now, not always, not every little thing, but generally I need a plan. And then I got to personally stay in touch and monitor and track. No, not do the tracking, but review the tracking of progress. Yesterday I was in a meeting and, I asked the field manager, do you track the job costs? And he said, yeah. How often? Well, that meant not very often. Well, he didn't have a specific answer. To me, it's weekly. And so, I would want job costs to be up to date and knowledgeable, estimate versus actual, every week. Otherwise, it's 3-4 weeks and you're out of money, right? So I want to stay in touch with the important factors that are for the people that work for me, my direct reports that I'm managing and leading, of course, of where they are and how they're doing. So I have to dig in and sit down with them. So if my plan looks like this, a blank sheet of paper, and what I want, I don't know, just do your best. Well, I'm doing my best. Well, it ain't good enough. Well, what's good enough? It's not clear. I can't measure it. I was at the same thing yesterday. It's a company. He had some funny goals, good goals on the wall or visions. One of them was efficient. I said, that's not a goal. How do you measure that? How do you measure goals? Need to be, results are measurable. So we got to, okay, I better figure that one out, right? So anyway, sorry, Chris, you know who you are. If you're on today, think you're on. I'm not picking on you. I'm just using you as an example because we're all in the same boat. We all do it. So what's your playbook? How are you going to accomplish your leadership goals, right? So leadership traits. Number one, I have a vision. I know where I'm going. I have a specific, inspiring vision of where we're going. We want to double our sales. We want to get more work. We want to bring in accurate estimates. That's our vision. I want to finish this job on time. I want to get a referral from this customer after we finish this job because we do a good job. That's my vision. And then I have a plan and a strategy. I have a playbook. So we have our rules and our systems, right? So I make sure as a leader, the systems are monitored, but mainly I have a vision of where we want to go. Number two, my job is to motivate, influence, encourage, inspire. I've got to be a positive influence on everyone, which requires, encourages innovation. I'm continually pushing for new ideas and better ways and better customers and better strategies. Somebody emailed me the other day, my roofing business is down like 60% since Trump took over and tariffs and the economy and inflation. I said, well, what else can you do? They only do homes. Well, are you doing commercial buildings? They're not going to let the rain come through on a commercial building. Maybe a homeowner doesn't have the money to replace the roof because it's not that bad. But commercial building owners are going to redo their roof. I do it. I've got properties I own. We have an ongoing program, a maintenance program on all the buildings. And every year they come out and spend $5-10 grand per building, and they got 20 buildings. There you go. Right? What are you doing about innovating and getting out of your same that's gone in the toilet? And and then number four, I am 100% accountable for the success of all my teams. I have to make sure I have an environment as the leader that promotes success. That's my job. And the head coach, you never say, well, if I had a better quarterback, we would win. No, they say, I called the wrong play. I pulled this. I did this. I need to improve on this. So they take responsibility. So it's not them, it's you. We delegate, leaders delegate, empower teams, give them the authority, and to make sure we're all working together in collaboration. Right? What else do we do? We make quick, prompt, good decisions. Well, I heard a lecture once from a bunch of CEOs from Fortune 500 companies, and they said, how we get judged as excellent is based on the good decisions we make. The more good ones we make, the more money we make and the company makes. If I make a bunch of bad decisions, I get fired. That's my leadership role, is several things. It's to always continually improve. It's to always grow, and it's always to make good decisions. And we got to change, continuous change and improvement. Number 7, we have open, regular communication. So as a small contractor, whether you got 10 people or 150 people, whatever you got, We need to have regular team meetings. People got to know the vision, where we're going, who's successful, and who's not. And we got to have regular open team meetings where the president gets up there and does their motivational State of the Union speak. Otherwise, they have no clue where we're going and why I should even work here. We've got to have regular communication, effective communication that opens the business to the employees. We got to be disciplined. We can't blow off meetings, and we got to be self-motivated. We got to continually work hard to get to the level we want to get to. We have to be confident and courageous. We have to be willing to take risks, willing to hire, willing to try new jobs, willing to add commercial roofs to housing roofs. You know, you got to be willing to try new things, and you got to be aware of your weaknesses. Are you adaptable? Empathetic? Are you compassionate? Do you care about your people? Do you show them you care? And are you ethical? You got to be ethical, honest, and authentic. You can't be a phony. So, you know, this list could go on forever, but there's so many things we need to do. You know what you need to do and what you don't see yourself as really good at. I know I'm really not a good person to hold people accountable. So I had to put in systems to do that. All right. So what are we going to do? Top priorities. What do you think the number one? Who do you remember as a leader? What do you remember Reagan for? Well, the wall and taxes. Economy. You remember him for results. You don't remember him because he was a nice guy or he delegated or he just, it's results. The key is results, you know, and that's why some of the presidents, we don't remember them as well because we don't remember what they achieved. It's all about results. And so what measurable results are you accountable to achieve as the leader, whether you're a project manager, superintendent, an owner? What results? What's your report card look like? Are you getting A's? Are you achieving results through people? Through people, not you, through your people. And so if we look at Fortune 500 companies, CEOs focus on what? Results. That's all they focus on. They focus on profit. They focus on value, stock price going up, the value of the business, the value of the company grows, and the sales. The company's growing with high margin sales, not low margin, high margin. So everything's growing. We're making more profit. The company's getting more valuable, and we're growing in better sales, better customers, better repeat work, better loyal customers. That's what we're all about. And in order to make that happen, we got to continually innovate, disrupt the status quo, try new things, change. We have to continually build capacity. That's systems, structure, people, software, all those kinds of things. We need to build capacity. We got to make sure that's happening. So I'm the leader. I make sure it happens. I don't do it. I've got to make sure we've got the talent, good talent that accepts responsibility. That's one of my pushes as the leader. What do you focus on? I hope it's these three things. Oh, how about four? And we got to make sure the systems, the playbook or strategy works, and it's being monitored and being utilized, and everybody's accountable to do it. That's the key. If you just do those four things and focus on results, you'll be a great leader. But we get stuck in the weeds, doing the wrong things, answering the phone, doing a bunch of stuff for our people. You know, we never sit down and talk to our people. We never sit down and manage our people. We don't have time for management. And so I look at you and what do we got to do, right? And so we come to a fork in the road, as our good old buddy Yogi Berra said, you know, we take it, right? So we got two choices. We can take the same road we've always taken, or we can take the new road of profit, value, and growth. And so you have to choose what your goal is and what you want to do. It's easy to take the same route every single time and do the same thing. You know, I did a little experiments once. I drove to work. It used to take me about 20 minutes to get to work. And I would take the same route every time. I finally said, I'm going to take different routes. It was amazing driving around, looking at different things. I thought, you're thinking different. You're thinking of new ideas. You got out of the rut. It's just something crazy. You might try it. And so here's my favorite cartoon. The little kid saying to the teacher, "Teacher, you'll find my test results are a pretty good indication of your abilities as a leader. just show, I mean, when I first start coaching with clients, they call me for help, improvement. And we go, let's look at your P&L. And I go, what do you normally bid jobs at? Oh, 20%. Well, how come your P&L is at 14? You only made 14. Well, sometimes we slip, sometimes we don't. You don't care. You don't even know. You don't keep track. You don't hold people accountable. You don't put systems in place that keeps you on track. You will allow performers to continue to work for you, even though they never hit the budget. You're a really weak leader. Now, I don't say that. I go, so let's look at ways that we can improve your role as the leader to improve these areas. So, you are 100% accountable for your team and your people and your players' results and performance. Who gets fired when the team's losing? The coach. Most of the players stay, maybe a couple go. But that's the key here, right? So what do we have to do? To get moving to the top of the hill, your priority has to be achieve your vision. You got to have a vision. Where do you want to go? If you're a project manager, what's your vision for this job? It's to hit the budget. It's to finish on schedule. No punch list, no accidents. What else? A repeat customer. Negotiate change orders that are great rate. Whatever your vision is, what's your vision for this job? If you're the foreman on a crew, what's your vision for this job and this crew? If you don't have a vision, if you don't know what you want, it ain't going to happen. So leaders know what they want, right? So, and we got the company value, the profit we talked about, the steady sales, high margin. I mean, sales are slow some parts of the country over the last 6 months. Well, what else can you do? Sit and wait for more work? No, go do something different. Plan for the future. It's going to slow down someday. Do more than one thing with one kind of customer, like houses on roofs. What else can you do? You can do a lot. I have a client who does roofing and asphalt. Well, it's the same basic tools and some, not all, but it's the same crew can do it. And he can fix the road or he can fix the roof, depending on who needs what, right? And he also changes the light bulbs out there when the light bulbs burn out in the shopping center. So, and he's out there on the weekends or during Christmas stringing Christmas lights. So he's got all sorts of stuff going during slow times. So I've got to prepare for the future with innovation, and I've got to build capacity, same list, develop talent, maintain systems and strategy. So what do I have to do? What do you have to do? That's what I want you to think about.